This is going to be like a newscast video, and I'm going to report what the news should be reporting. I have just been testifying through Skype at the Quebec trial, and we had a terrorist bombing during the trial, and at least 20,000 people were killed during this trial. This is my case that I've brought against Loree McBride. The trial is being held in Quebec, Canada, and several of the lawyers on our side were killed, though it looks like attorney Lee Sweal made it okay. Brent Spiner and Vladimir Putin were not harmed, though Brent Spiner, a whole balcony fell down. I've been talking with Judge Terrence Jenkins. He's the judge presiding over the trial. And the trial was supposed, today is August the 25th. And what happened was that right before the trial was to start, the Jesuits snuck in a bomb, and it exploded, and at least 20,000 people died, and we lost some of our lawyers on this side. And from what I understand, most of the Jesuits were not there when this happened. This is really disgusting, and these Jesuits need to be tried and given the death penalty for this. But there were a lot of young people there that came out to see me in the trial, and a lot of them died. So I don't know if this is going to get reported in mainstream news, but Judge Terrence, I have been testifying in this trial through Skype, and I've been going back and forth with Loree McBride, and she has, she's claiming that she's legally married to Brent Spiner. But let me tell you, the trial just started off really bad. We had an explosion, a terrorist bombing. At least 20,000 people died. I'm so glad Lee Sweal's okay. And then during the trial, Loree McBride and I were at each other. I presented my charges, and the charges that I brought were, I just said that Loree McBride and the Jesuits extorted Brent Spiner into a public relationship with the motive to destroy his love for me, because the Jesuits found my Catherine the Great and King David genetic profile a threat to their goal for world dominion. I laid out my charges. Another charge that I laid out is I said that Loree McBride has promoted a lying press campaign that she's married to Brent Spiner and that she's had a sexual relationship with Brent Spiner as part of a Jesuit conspiracy to destroy his love for me. And they must destroy Brent first before they destroy me, so that they can remove the blockades to their goal for a world takeover. That was another charge I laid out. Another charge I laid out is that Loree McBride has tried to kill Brent Spiner on several occasions. Several weeks ago, she whacked his head so severely he suffered brain damage and concussion, required hospitalization. This was an attempt to kill him, to get him out of the way, so that the Jesuits can next eliminate me. The judge told me that Vladimir Putin sent me tickets to go to this trial, but it looks like maybe it's good that I didn't go, or I may not be alive. And the Jesuits succeeded in sabotaging those tickets, but if the thing is, Judge Terrence Jenkins told me that if I had flown to the trial, that the Jesuits planned on having the plane crash. So maybe it's good that I've only been able to testify through Skype. They've been putting my picture up on several screens in the trial, and it's like the United Nations. This is a really big case, and it's like a huge audience out there. Millions of people are showing up. This is an international trial, but we had a terrorist bombing. So another charge that I laid out was that Loree works as part of a massive Jesuit conspiracy that orchestrated World War I, World War II, the American Civil War, the Nazi Holocaust, and their goal was to eliminate the Jewish race. And they were behind just about all the wars in the 20th century as part of their attempt to take over the world for Roman Catholicism, and have committed massive war crimes, especially in World War II when they were behind the Nazi Holocaust. If Loree McBride is found guilty of assisting the Jesuits in another attempt to orchestrate another war, she may face the death. Actually, Loree McBride was shot to death during the trial. Because in the middle of the trial, I went out at Loree and I said, Loree, I said, isn't it true that you interfered. You knew that Brett was at the height of his love for me in 1992, and you knew he was in love with me, and you interfered. And I said, Loree, answer that question. And she didn't want to answer it right away. And then she said, no, he was in love with me. And then when I got on her and said, you tried to murder Brent Spiner a couple weeks ago. And she said, no, I didn't. I was having sex with him. And we were having glorious sex. I said, no, Loree McBride. He ended up in the hospital. And you whacked him in the head and almost killed him. And you tried to murder him. Didn't you, Loree McBride? Answer my question. You know what she did then? She had something in her pocket. She pulled it out. It was a fire about 16 inches long, the judge said, and she started setting the courtroom on fire, and she took off some of the left eyebrow of the judge, and then they had to shoot her in the middle of the trial, and while they were shooting her, she kept talking and laughing. Ha, 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 ha! She was laughing while she was being shot to death. They had to shoot her about 10 times before she went down. They had to shoot her because she was trying to set the courtroom on fire. So, my dears, we are having a very interesting trial. This needs to go on the news. At least 20,000 people died. They have to rebuild the courtroom, and we're going to convene again maybe on Monday, and I'll let the world know how it's going. This should be on the news. At least 20,000 people died in this trial because of a terrorist bomb, and we lost some Fox News attorneys. Lease Wheels, okay, but we lost some of our lawyers. Okay? So that's what happened today at the trial. It was mostly me and Loree duking it out with each other, and I accused her of being a Jesuit terrorist and that she's not really married to Brent Spiner and that she's tried to kill him and that she interfered with our relationship, and she's claiming that she was married to him and that they've had all sorts of erotic and disgusting sex, including anal, oral sex, and she was going into, and then she was getting a penis and flinging it in the air at Brent Spiner, and it's really disgusting. Brent Spiner was in tears. So, folks, that's what happened today. And the world needs to know what the Jesuits did at this trial. They killed 20,000 people. They bombed. They did a terrorist bombing.